dragon. Okay. Anytime the dragon's around, yeah, he's not gonna make himself lowly, that's for sure, is he? No. So, no, blasphemy in the Bible means making yourself equal or greater than God. Therefore, this beast is one that is exalting itself, right? So who is the dragon? We already know this, but we'll turn to it. Eric will read that. Revelation 12, verse 9.
So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Okay, so who was the dragon? Satan. Okay. Note, in order to decipher who or what the beast is, we need to study the prophecies of Daniel. Daniel is the book of the Old Testament that points to the end time prophecies, and Revelation is the book in the New Testament that also points to end time prophecies. Daniel sheds light on Revelation, and Revelation expands the prophecies of Daniel. They need to be studied in light of one another. So, what did Daniel see come up out of the sea? Daniel 7, verses 2 and 3. Daniel 7, verses 2 and 3. And Bosco, it's your turn to read.
Daniel spoke, saying, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven were
Churning.
turning up the sea, great sea,
Mm-hmm.
and four great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other.
Okay, so what did Daniel see in his vision? Four what?
Beasts.
Four beasts. So let's write that in there, four beasts. Because we need to determine what this beast of Revelation 13 is, right? And in order to decipher that, we have to go to the book of Daniel to find out, right? So what does a beast represent? And we're already in Daniel 7. Ivo, could you read 17 and 23 for us?
This great beast which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
Okay, and then
And
verse 23.
23 is, thou he said, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread in down and break it in pieces.
Okay, so what does a beast represent according to what you just read?
Kingdom.
Kingdom or nation, that's right. Mhm,
Kings and kingdoms.
mhm. Okay, what does the sea represent? Because Daniel saw these beasts coming up out of the sea, so these are kingdoms or nations coming up out of the sea. So what would the sea represent? Revelation 17:15. Revelation 17:15. And is it Najia's turn to read? No, it's Rosie's turn to read. So that's 7:15.
Then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues.
Okay, so what does the sea represent?
Those multitudes, nations, and tongues.
Peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So I'll give you a minute to write that down. Now, while you're writing that down, I'd like for you to take one of these handouts and pass it down this way. And take these handouts and pass it down this way. Give this to you, Eric. gonna go over this right now. This is a handout that I typically use with this lesson. And you'll see, and I apologize where our copier isn't working exactly right, but it's good enough and you get the gist of it, okay? And if you guys need to hole punch it, you can. If anyone needs to hole punch it, Eric's gonna drop that off for you. Okay, so I'm gonna read the note, and they're gonna need the handout for this. Note, in Daniel 2, God revealed through his prophet Daniel that there would be but 4 great world empires. The fourth kingdom, Rome, would then be divided into 10 tribes. These were comprised of ancient Europe, and history has confirmed this. Since Daniel 7 also tells of 4 successive kingdoms, it is apparent that this prophecy parallels the prophecies of Daniel 2. Because God identified the first kingdom in Daniel 2 as Babylon, we know that the other 3 would have to be Medo Persia, Greece, and Rome. Now that's a lot to be put in one paragraph, a lot, you know. And so that's why I have this handout here. And oftentimes what Chris does after they go through the Lifting Up Jesus Bible studies and they are baptized, probably the thing that they need is probably a little bit more explanation on Daniel and everything. So that's why he is going to be using Daniel as a follow-up with this, which I think would be really, really good. They need to continue to be discipled, though, continuing on with their devotional life, maybe continuing to read Desire of Ages or something. But in addition, reading or going through Daniel even more. So, let's see. So basically, this is what I tell them. I take a look at this. I show them this. Did you guys pass that around? Do you have that hole puncher to them too? Yeah? You guys have it? Okay, good. So you take a look at this, and there's Daniel 2 on the left, and there's Daniel 7 on the right. Daniel 2 is the image of the statue of the dream that was given to King Nebuchadnezzar, and he saw this huge this huge figure of a man. The head was of gold, the arms and chest were of silver, the thighs and the belly were of brass, the legs were of iron, and the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay. God said, "You, O King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, are that head of gold. And after you there will be other kingdoms that will come and rule after you." If you notice, each metal becomes more and more inferior until finally these feet with the 10 toes are made partly of clay and partly of iron. Can clay and iron cleave together? Not very well, right? Until this big rock comes, which is the second coming of Christ, and comes in and shatters this entire statue down. In parallel to this is Daniel 7. Daniel 7 also is very symbolic of the exact same countries or nations: Babylon, Medo Persia, Greece, and Rome. This lion is representative of Babylon. In fact, Babylon's front gate, the Ishtar Gate, that's in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin, have these lion figures on them as symbolic of Babylon. Okay? Next is the bear, and the bear has the ribs, and he's got a hump on one end because one of these of the Medo Persia is the more prominent than the other. Next, you've got the leopard-like beast of Greece, because Alexander the Great, with leopard-like swiftness, came in and conquered the then known world. And then finally you have this fierce beast, which is what we're talking about. And this fierce beast is talking about Rome. It's the iron legs. Iron was the symbol of Rome back then. And so here you have this fierce beast, and this fierce beast has how many horns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And it's got 7 heads. I don't see 7 heads very well on this figurine, on this figure, but it's got the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And then the iron and clay is the divided kingdoms, and here's this little horn, and it's this little horn that we're going to be talking about right now. So, in the paragraph 2, these beasts come out of the sea or a thickly populated territory. Daniel saw the sea tossed about by a strong wind. Winds depict strife and war, and that's from Jeremiah 49:36 and 37. Thus, each of these nations emerges from war and strife. Isn't this usually how most nations make their debut? In contrast, the leopard-like beast of Revelation 13 comes up out of the sea, but no winds are mentioned. Why? Because it was given its power from Satan. Take a look. Let's turn to Jeremiah 49, and I'm going to show that to you. Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah before Ezekiel and Lamentations. Jeremiah 49, verses 36 and 37. Whose turn is it to read? Who is it?
36 and 37.
Yep. I think, Rafi, did you read last? Oh, I can't remember. Is it Nadja?
Nadja.
Okay, Nadja, thank you.
Jeremiah açacağız.
Okay, 49 verses 36 and 37.
I will bring upon Elam the four winds from the four ends of heaven, and will scatter them to all these winds, and there will be no nation to which the outcasts of Elam will not go. So I will shatter Elam before their enemies and before those who seek their lives, and I will bring calamity upon them, even my fierce anger, declares the Lord. And I will send out the sword after them until I have consumed them.
Okay. Does this seem like a very peaceable time that God's talking about? Or one there's a lot of disaster and calamity with the winds, right? So winds represent war and destruction, right? And all of these nations come from this tossing of the sea where there's strife and there's war and that's how they all come about to be. They conquer, to become. But this beast comes up out of the sea, but no winds, because he was given its power from who? Satan, right? Okay. So how many horns did this beast have? Revelation 13:1. We already know. What's the answer? Or maybe we don't know. Let's turn to Revelation 13. Mhm.
Then
Yeah, 10. You spoke too late. We have to read it now. All right. Rafi, you need to read Revelation 13:1.
Then I saw a beast come out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads. On each of its horns there was a crown, and on each of its heads there was a name that was insulting to God.
Okay. So how many horns did this beast have? 10. No, these 10 horns are the same 10 toes. What is that? Rafi, what did you say?
No, I just read it.
Okay, these 10 horns are the same 10 toes of the statue in Daniel 2 that speaks of the dividing of the empires of Rome. 10 barbarian tribes finally broke Rome's long iron rule. These 10 tribes ruled for a while, and 3 fell away entirely. The remaining 7 became the forerunners of modern Europe. This is the same beast or nation spoken of Daniel 2 and 7. So, let's take a look now at this beast with these horns, and it is identified in Daniel 7 more specifically. So let's take a look at it. Daniel 7 verses 19 through 25. Daniel 7, 19 through 25. And Heidi, when you get through, would you like to read 19 and 20? We'll all take 2 turns, or 2 verses.
And I desire to know the truth about the first beast, which was different from all the rest, exceeding terrifying with its teeth
of iron and claws of bronze, and which devoured and broke in pieces and stamped what was left with its feet. And about the 10 horns was there on its head, and the other horn that came up, and before which there of the fell the horn that had eyes and a mouth that spoke great things, and that seemed greater than his compassions.
Okay, and then Eric,
Which verse were we on?
should be 21, right?
21.
I was watching, and the same horn was making war against the saints, and prevailing against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and a judgment was made in favor of the saints of the Most High, and the time came for the saints to possess the kingdom.
Now that's good news. So this horn was waging war against the saints, and he was defeating them. But then God comes, pronounces judgment in favor of the saints, and then they possess the kingdom. Remember, we're going to be reigning with Christ. Does this resonate with you now a little bit more? Where it says that God is going to be in favor of the saints, and we will rule with Christ, right? But until that comes, verses 23 and 24, Vasco.
Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom of earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in.
And 24.
Yes. The 10 horns are 10 kings who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall rise after him. He shall be different for the first ones, and shall subdue 3 kings.
Okay, thank you. And then Evo, 25 and 26. Or just 25, actually.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until the time and dividing of time.
Okay, very good. So let's take a look at this, and we're going to fill in the blanks with this as well. And this is 19 through 25. Speaking of this little horn, he will have eyes and mouth that spoke what? What is it? Pompous or boastfully. So let's write that in there, pompous or boastful. He's going to be waging blank against the blank and blanking them. Waging what?
War.
War against the
Saints.
saints and
Prevailing against.
or oppressing them. Very good. He will speak against the blank blank. Most High. Very good. He will blank his saints.
Persecute.
Okay, what does it say? Mine says oppress. It's in verse 25. It says he will speak against the Most High and oppress his saints. What do you guys have for oppress?
Persecute.
Persecute. Okay, very good. And write persecute down. I've got the NIV, so. And he will try to blank the set blank and blank. Try to. What do you have? That's also in verse 25.
To change times and laws.
Try to change the set times and what? Laws. Okay, note on next page. This power arises out of the divisions of Rome. This little horn power would be different from the first 10. They were all political powers. This would be a religious power. This boastful power is the same as the sea beast of Revelation 13. It is papal Rome. So at this point, people are like, what? What? But you should see how much shocked they are when they find out that the land beast is the United States. Say what? You know? Then they're really shocked, you know. But yeah, it is papal Rome. So we went through a lot with them. So that's why we have this summary. Let's summarize this papal Rome power, which is identified in Daniel 2:7 and Revelation 13. So here is a summary. Number 1, the little horn, and that's how another reason why I updated it, because the first one didn't have this summary in there. And I think that it really needed to have the summary, you know. Number 1, the little horn came to power among the 10 horns, which was in Western Europe. 2, the little horn arose sometime after 476 AD. If it arose among the 10 horns, then it had to arise after they already existed. The 10 horns arose to divide the Roman Empire in 476 AD. 3, the little horn uprooted 3 of the 10 horns as it arose to power. 4, the little horn has a man at its head who speaks for it, a human leader who possesses its authority. Because it says it had an eyes and mouth that spoke boastfully, so it's a man. It's a man power. 5, the little horn is a different kind of power than the 10 horns. 6, the little horn will speak words of blasphemy against God. According to the Bible, blasphemy is when a man claims to be God and or claims to forgive sins. Does papal Rome or the Catholic Church claim to forgive sins? Can only God forgive sins? Yes. The little horn exercises its power to persecute God's people. It's a persecuting power. Has the Catholic Church or Rome persecuted people in the past? Yes. 8, the little horn will attempt to change God's laws. Have we learned in the past that the Catholic Church had changed God's Sabbath from Sabbath to Sunday? Yes. Okay. Conclusion. The world is rapidly being arrayed under one of 2 banners, bearing the authority of God or Satan. To decide to be loyal is to invite opposition, but its end result is inner peace and eternal life. The Bible is clear about Satan's intentions. We will discover more about this in our next lesson. So this was a really very heavy lesson. It had a lot of prophecy in it. But again, certain points that you want to bring out is that that the Sabbath will be sealed in their heart and their mind, okay? And that it's a sign of righteousness by faith. It's a sign of their salvation. It's a sign that it's God who makes them holy, and we rest in that. And that we are just identifying for them right now who this beast power of Revelation 13 is, and that it's papal Rome. And that this beast power will come to play in the last days. Now, all we've done out of these 3, because you've got the 3, that's the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then you've got the 3 that's unholy, right? Now, we've identified 2 out of the 3. We've identified Satan, right, or the dragon. We've identified the second of the 2, which is the beast of Revelation 13, which is papal Rome. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to identify who the third part of this unholy trinity is that will come on the scene, okay? So all of this, you basically tell them, stay tuned for next week, because we're basically going to be talking to them about it. So, was it clear? Did you have any questions? Okay, before you all collapse on me, I'll give you a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue on with Bible study number 22, okay?
Our fresh air man is not here today, Tony, so somebody needs to take that over.
Oh yeah, we need to open the windows and get some fresh air in here before they all fall asleep on me.
Do you want water or tea to drink?
I would like water. I don't know what everyone else would like. Should we get water?
Yes.
Yes, I think water would be good for us. Thank you, Nadia.